The little girl's tiny voice trembled as she whispered, "Sir, my mom didn't come home last night." The words hung in the air like a storm ready to break, and the sight of her tear-streaked cheeks and trembling hands struck a chord deep in the heart. At that moment, in the midst of his high-rise office filled with the cold hum of air conditioning and the quiet buzz of phones, the billionaire CEO felt a weight in his chest that no amount of money could ever ease. This wasn't a business problem, it wasn't a deal gone wrong, it was a human crisis, and he knew somehow he couldn't turn away. If you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Act of Kindness. Because stories like this remind us that one action can change a life. The CEO, Jonathan Price, had always lived a life dictated by schedules, profits, and spreadsheets. His world was one of glass towers, luxury cars, and private jets, but it had a void that he didn't often acknowledge. Yet the vulnerability of a 7-year-old girl staring at him, her small frame dwarfed by the office furniture, pierced that void in a way nothing else had. Her name was Emma, and she had come to him out of desperation, clutching her mother's favorite scarf and a notebook filled with scribbled notes of hope. He learned quickly that her mother, a kind-hearted woman named Clara, had been struggling silently, juggling 2 jobs, trying to keep their small apartment warm and their fridge full. But last night she hadn't come home. Emma didn't know why, only that she had waited, hours stretching into unbearable silence. The thought of the child, waiting alone, and the darkness she must have felt, ignited something in Jonathan that he had never felt before, a mix of responsibility, compassion, and urgency. Jonathan left his polished office behind and stepped into the city streets, the lights of the skyscrapers reflecting in puddles from a recent rain. Every corner, every shadow, felt heavier as he thought of Clara. His usual sense of control was replaced by a gnawing uncertainty. He called every number he had, reached out to contacts, even contacted local authorities discreetly, refusing to let bureaucracy slow him down. Every no information he received was like a stab in the heart, and yet he pressed on, fueled by Emma's trusting eyes and the small hand that clung to his arm whenever he came home after a long day. Hours passed, and the city seemed to hold its breath alongside them. Jonathan's search led him to the edge of the industrial part of the city, where he found Clara, exhausted and frightened, trapped in a situation far more dangerous than he could have imagined. She had been caught up in a series of unfortunate events, a minor accident, compounded by losing her phone and struggling to navigate the chaos of city life. The relief on her face when she saw Jonathan was immediate, tears mixing with rain as she explained everything in fragmented gasps. The drive back was quiet, filled with the kind of reflection that only crises can bring. Jonathan, once focused solely on profit margins and quarterly reports, felt a profound shift inside him. This night had shown him the fragility of life, the deep human need for connection, and the power one person can have when they choose to act. He vowed to help, not just Clara and Emma, but others who might silently struggle in the shadows of the bustling city. Over the following weeks, Jonathan became a different man. He arranged for Clara to have a secure job, a safe apartment, and access to counseling. Emma, once timid and wary, began to smile again, her laughter filling the once quiet halls of their small home. Jonathan visited often, always bringing a sense of stability and warmth that money alone could not buy. The bond that formed between them transcended social boundaries, a poignant reminder that empathy and action matter more than status or wealth. The story of Emma and Jonathan spread quietly at first, touching the hearts of those who heard it. But beyond the headlines, it was the personal transformations that mattered most. Jonathan learned that true success wasn't measured by bank accounts or accolades. It was measured by lives touched, hearts healed, and hope restored. And Emma, the little girl with the worried eyes, learned that sometimes the world does care, and one act of courage could light up the darkest night. If this story has touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and share. Stories like Emma's remind us that our smallest acts of kindness can ripple into extraordinary change. And before you leave, Leave a comment telling us what hope or courage means to you. Your words might inspire someone today. As Jonathan watched Emma run to greet her mother with laughter that had returned like sunshine after a storm, he knew that life's greatest victories were not in boardrooms or contracts, but in the quiet moments of compassion that heal real people, real hearts, and real lives. And in that, he found a joy and purpose he had never known existed.